Oscar Bevis, IFL TV MTK Global, delighted to be joined by fighter, teacher, sketcher, and already UK fan favourite, Ebanie Bridges. How are we?
I'm good. How are you? Nice
I'm
and
very
late
well.
for me.
It is. It makes a change. Normally, it's me up late interviewing fighters from the States, but it's nice to sort of have the roles reversed for a change.
Yeah. And make you get up early.
Well, yeah. I mean, I would have still been in bed if it wasn't for this, obviously. So.
I'm worth waking up for. Don't worry.
The plan today was literally just to talk boxing.
Yeah, awesome.
Boxing. But first off, a little update on the shoulder. We've seen you lashing in the uppercuts, the overhand rights on Twitter and Instagram. Is everything good now?
Yeah, it's good. Look, I mean, it's not 100%. Like what happened while I'm training, I kind of just block it out. You know, I just got that mentality where I kind of just block it out, whether or not that's a good or a bad thing. But then after training is when it's really kind of, it's just, it just aches, and it's just, that's the kind of where I know it's not perfect yet. But the fact that I can train and hit with it while I'm in training, for me, that's good. You know, I haven't really lost power. I mean, I did obviously at first, but now I feel like my power's back. There's a little bit of range that's I still want to come, you know, but I'm sure that it'll all come together. So it's definitely, you know, getting better, and I can't complain.
Let's just quickly skim over some sort of developments in your division. Rachel Ball-Courtenay, the rematch has been formally announced. As much as you'd love it to be you in there, is it nice to see things moving on? Because I imagine you just want the debacle between Rachel and Shannon over so it can focus on you and that world title.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, even though they're all talking about Rachel and you know, Rachel and Shannon Courtenay, you know, I'm still the one getting talked about. Like, even though they're fighting, I'm still the one in all the comments, and everyone's still calling me and wanting to fight me. So, I mean, no matter what, I'm still going to be involved in them. You know, that's just what it is. But yeah, I mean, I think everything happens for a reason. I would have obviously liked to, you know, had my fight in November, and I would have beaten Rachel Ball, and then I probably would have been fighting Shannon Courtenay now and beating her as well, you know, and then moving on from those guys and getting, you know, but unfortunately that's all is all dragging on now, which, I mean, that's just what happens. And I think in a way it's good. I you know, if for example I got offered the fight early this year, which I wouldn't be ready for a world title fight now, because my shoulder's just not there. It's, you know, maybe like even now I wouldn't have been able to be ready. Like, I think, you know, I'm looking in March for like a tune up, but I mean, a high level 10-round world title fight, you know, I just think that to jump straight back into that after an injury, it's a bit of a big ask, and you know, I got to be really careful because I do want longevity. So in a way it's good, because that means that I can get like a few warm-up fights out, hopefully, fingers crossed, a couple, or at least one, because I was going to fight Rachel and I hadn't fought for about 8 months. And then if, say, for example, I was going to fight now without, like soon, straight into them, you know, they've been having these fights. They've been having 2-3 fights while I've just been, you know, in Australia, like going, hey, what about me? You know, so in a way it's a good thing because it means I can get that, you know, ring rust, whatever you want to call it, you know, get those fight, you know, that fight feeling, experience that fight night again, which I haven't done for like over 12 months. So I think it's all working in my favor. And I'm telling you what, like, and I'm a completely different fighter to what I was, you know, 12 months ago, completely. I mean, look, I still have the same kind of style. Like, I'm always going to have that style. But what I mean is in my progress, you know, what you see and your development over the last 12 months. I mean, even since my last camp, you know, things click to you when you're in camp and you fight and you learn. Even though I didn't get to have that fight, I still, like, so many things came to me and clicked to me, and you know, because I'm always improving, I'm still quite fresh in the sport, you know, so I'm still just full of learning and full of development, you know. So the longer they leave it as well, the more I'm learning. You know, they're in fight camp tuning over, you know, where I've had a little bit of time to step back and really work on things, and not just be thinking about I'm going to have to just get fit and just smash stuff out. So, I mean, I think it's a good thing. And I get to see them. They've hardly seen me fight. All they can judge me on is my fight 12 months ago. Have fun with judging me on that. Because if you're looking at that girl, then you're going to be no fucking way you're going to be ready for this girl. So, I mean, it's good for me that they can't see me, and I just keep watching and studying their stuff and just seeing what they're doing. And, you know, so it's all good. It all happens, and it's all working towards the better interest for me. It's all building more hype for me in the UK, you know, more anticipation. You know, so I just think it's just meant to be. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
You mentioned that you're going to get to watch them and you've watched them. What did you make of Rachel's last performance? I mean, I was in fight camp that week. It was strange because the full world title status was dropped. Her opponent came in overweight. She then shaved her head and then she weighed even more. It was such a weird week, but like she delivered in the ring.
Oh man, hats off to Rach, man. Like she's a legend, but Rachel is so cool, and she's you know, she is a legend, and the way she dealt with that, like, man, good on her. Like she deserved that win. She did. And I wanted to win. I was rooting for her because I'm like, please, you deserve it. Like she's the one that's been through the camp. She's the one that, you know, was working towards this so hardly. You know, I mean, no offense to Guanini, but you know, you come in with 11 days notice, like you haven't put the work in, you haven't put the graft in, you haven't sacrificed. You just coming in like, sweet, here's your cash, like whatever. Like if she won, like I would have been devastated, like for Rach, you know. So I'm happy she won, and yeah, she looks good. You know, she made improvements from her fight with Shannon. But I do think also that comes down to like you guys know, or most people know by now, me and Rachel are friends. So I just think that it came down to looking at Rachel and seeing her other fights. I feel like, you know, maybe the whole Matchroom, the bubble, that whole experience that first time, you know, not put her off. Like these things happen. You know, we are human, and sometimes that can take a toll when you know, you're extra nervous, and she just didn't perform her best against Shannon Courtenay. Even if she still won, she didn't show much really, like, you know, whereas when she came back for that second fight with Guanini, you could tell she was more relaxed and more confident, and you know, putting the punches together well. And I mean, to be honest, I don't think she would have really underestimated Guanini, but she was training for me. And she knows me. She's my friend. She's actually seen some of my sparring. She's seen what I do to people, like, because I've showed her, like, it's like, you know, look, like, you know, whatever. Like, because we never thought we'd actually really fight, you know. So she knows she doesn't underestimate me. She would have been training very hard, and then she gets a girl that comes in, probably hadn't really been training much, you know, can't even make super band, let alone bantamweight. So I mean, you know, I think she did well. The girl was experienced. I think I was actually surprised. To be honest, I was surprised with Guanini. I thought wow, like considering like she's had fuck all notice and probably hasn't trained and clearly not in shape for her weight division. She held herself well and she looked all right, and she was still slick and moved around, and she did make it really hard for Rachel to hit her. You know, Rachel was missing a lot, you know. So yeah, I thought it was good. Like, I don't know what else really. I can go on and analyze the boxing, so don't get me started talking too much on boxing because I just don't fucking stop. But yeah, look, it was good. I was happy to see that because I watched that and I was like, oh yeah, okay, cool. More notes for me. All right, got this now. Okay, you're working on that now. Okay. Okay.
I was just going to put it out there. Like you mentioned the fact that it should have been you in originally fighting for the world title, and then you might have fought Shannon after, and then you're taking notes, and you and Rachel are friends. When you just become a UK resident, let's be honest, your biggest fan base is in the UK. You might as well just come and live over here. I
should. You know, I should move over. I could get over there and like go into camp with Rach. And no, but look, I mean, I wanted to. There was some talks and discussions about getting me over there for a tune-up. And then staying there for the challenge for the world title. And that was ideal, but that all happened. That was in talks around just before Christmas. And then you guys just fucking went like, oh, you know, yeah, let's just like go crazy on COVID. And, you know, everyone, all of a sudden you've gone from here to here with COVID, and the country went like, you know, just got turned upside down, and you all went to lockdown and everything. And I was just like, to get over there and set things up, and just the uncertainty, I think it just wouldn't have been worth it for most parties, you know. Like, you know, Matchroom, for example. I mean, I talked to Eddie, and as in like, you know, I know that I'm definitely getting over there, but I also I'm pretty, you know, intelligent, and I understand business, and I understand how things work. And I mean, feasibility, like, you know, what if I can get a fight here without all that risk because of all the COVID and the travel and everything, then, you know, my best option is just getting a fight. And that's my main goal right now, is getting a fucking fight, fucking punching fucking heads in now, ASAP, because that's what I love to do. And that's what I've not been doing for 12 months. You know, I turned pro because I want to freaking fight, you know, not because I want to sit back. I don't want to be on social media and shit. But what else am I going to freaking do? I've got to keep working my brand. I've got to keep working something, because otherwise I'm not progressing. If I can't progress in the ring and I can't progress and get my attention or my name or my brand out from fighting, I'm going to have to do it some way. Otherwise I'm just going to keep, you know, falling back behind. So I've had to do what I have to do to keep me alive in the industry. And yeah, but I'm really over it. I just want to like crack skulls. So yeah, which I do have some fight news coming very soon. So stay tuned. Which I hate fucking saying, but yeah. So yeah, you'll hear it soon.
I know I said strictly boxing, and I suppose still combat sport, I suppose. I just come in with this idea that I was going to ask you this, so I'd be really interested to hear your sort of take on the boxing MMA crossover. I mean, we thought we were going to sit with Claressa Shields. We haven't, which I suppose is a positive. But for someone like yourself who has that sort of appeal outside of boxing, does it intrigue you at all, that sort of crossover?
Me, definitely not. I couldn't think of anything worse than rolling around on the floor, hugging and getting kicked in the face and kneed in the face, to be honest. Personally, so me, no. I'm a perfectionist and I'm a purist with boxing. Like, I don't want to think about anything else except boxing. As for Claressa and what some of those girls are doing, I totally get it, man. Like, especially the Americans. You don't see the British doing it. Do you know why? Because especially more recently, now, you know, you got Eddie, but America, the girls in America have been struggling for a long time to get anything out of the Americans and the promoters over there and interest in women's boxing, and they still don't have it. As much as they want to like carry on and pretend like, oh yeah, they don't. Fucking Claressa couldn't even get a fight. The biggest name in the GWOAT, like, I mean, the biggest name besides Katie Taylor for me, like, I mean, Claressa's the one making a lot of waves. You know, I think she's great for women's boxing. You know, she shows that, you know, like she's so strong-minded and just so determined, and I just love to see that, you know, and I think she's a great example of, you know, that champion mindset and believing in yourself. And it's just such a shame when I seen she was going to do that, like, it broke my heart, because I'm like, no, like, we want to see you box, yeah, but at the same time I understand, and it's very smart. She's smart, because you know what that does? What that does is it just gets more fans for her. You know, it gets more fans. Now, from all that hanging around Holly Holm and hanging around all those, I don't know, that's all I know because she's an ex-boxer. I don't follow UFC at all, so I don't know anyone in UFC. But all I know is she was hanging out with Holly Holm and some other people. But these people have their fans, you know, and now she has those friendships and those networks, and people in the MMA world are now like, oh, okay, Claressa Shields. Like, I don't know anyone in UFC, really. Like, but if they came over to box one of our boxers, then I would look at them and I'd start to know them, you know what I mean? So that's like, now maybe these people are not into boxing and know who Claressa is. And maybe they support her now because, you know, she's hanging out with Holly, and then they realize, oh, wow, this chick's pretty badass in boxing. Like, we should follow her. And if she had that fight, who knows how she'd go, but she would have probably had fans, you know? And it just brings fans from both sides. It definitely would have made me watch it, you know? Like, I don't even like MMA at all, but I would have watched it to watch Claressa. So I think what she's done is smart, because now she has like this whole extra fan base, which she can also build on, you know, and that's what it's about. I mean, people are like so stuck on, you know, oh, boxing, and yeah, it's just one way, and you got to be like this and da 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 da, you know, but it's not. Like, you know, if you can get more fans, more eyes, more anything onto boxing, especially women's boxing, is better for us as women as a whole, and also us as personal, because the more fans we have, the more we get fucking paid. You know what I mean? So like, it just makes sense. Like, and if you're just going to be like a, you know, like a purist, like, you know, and not going to step outside your square and step outside what you're doing to build your brand and your fan base and whatever outside or bigger, then I mean, you're the one selling yourself short. Because I'm telling you right now, Eddie Hearn's not going to pay some girl over here, even if she's like 13-0, who has literally no name, to come over and fight over there to give nothing. You know what I mean? Like, for example, You know, like it is sometimes that what it is. Like, you know, if you can bring people in and people are interested to watch you, then you're gonna get the more opportunities. So why not spread yourself out, you know, in everywhere possible. You know, not everyone can do it. You know, not everyone can. Not everyone is able to do it. But I think if you are, or at least if you try, then that's smart for your own career.
Does it annoy you as such? Because we are in that era now where you're one of the fighters who will get asked questions about pay, equality, and I don't want to drive the interview towards that, because we are going to break down some fights in a bit. But I don't know.
Awesome.
There will be a day where you aren't asked questions like that, and I suppose that's the day when you'll see it as fair, I suppose, because you are going to get asked questions like that. But I suppose one day there will be a point where you're not.
Yeah, I mean, I probably won't be alive, but yeah, I definitely, of course, it's going to happen eventually. Just like women's pay in the workplace is now equal. But then again, like, you know, the only reason I don't like getting asked this question is because I'm a business person, you know, and and I understand commercial value. So it doesn't matter if you're a guy or a girl. Like, if you can't fucking sell, then how can you get expected to be paid the same? And unfortunately, and I do get it, that it has a lot to do with promoters and with TV networks and that trying to help pushing women, you know, like obviously we can't do it all on our own. You know, we do need that support behind us, which is definitely becoming much more predominant now. But at the same time, if you're like, I don't know, fighting for the WBC world title and you're bringing in a certain amount, you know, X amount of fans, but just because it's a WBC world title in that weight division, does that mean you should be getting paid exactly the same as the men that are doing it? I don't know. I don't think so, because not even the men get paid equally. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure I get paid more than a lot of the men, especially in Australia. You know what I mean? Like, I'm marketable, you know? So I think someone that's had about the same fights as me as a guy, I'm getting paid more.
I mean, we have had the female world title triple header here. You were meant to fight on that. You fought on female dominated cards, but would you rather see female male mixed cards? Because I'm sure you'd rather line up alongside Josh Warrington than line up on a card of just 6 female fights. Yeah.
I mean, to be completely honest, like I'd love to be on a male undercard. I mean, being on a like it's like, it's all good saying like put all the girls on one card, but like we're not there yet where everyone wants to tune in. So we got to get people to tune in by putting a good male card on, which fucking sucks, but it's the reality. Like, you know what I mean? You want someone to tune into us, then, you know, you're going to give them a bit of an extra reason as well. Same way, you know, they put the YouTubers on, or in Australia, they put the rugby players fighting. Fuck, it's stupid as fuck. But you know what? It brings more people on the sport, and they're going to look, and then they're going to see some fighters they might not have seen and being like, oh, wow, man, this is pretty cool. Like, boxing's pretty mad. Like, look, they're bashing each other in the head. Like, same thing. Like, you know, imagine being on like, you know, an undercard of an Anthony Joshua or Dillian and Whyte, or for me, Warrington, because, you know, Leeds might all the way, you know, like for me, that's more, for me, I'd rather, like, I don't want to say that because I'll be happy with fucking anything. But for me, that's more exciting for me than being on like a Katie Taylor undercard or like another Terry Harper undercard for me. But you know, I love boxing and I love male boxing. So that's me. But I just, you know, I'm not like, I'm girl power, but I'm also like, you know, I know that there's a long way to go and it's a process and it's a scaffold, and you can't just expect to go from here to here. You know, we all got to work together, and the girls got to keep putting on good performances, got to keep training fucking hard, and the promoters got to keep putting on good female fights, good fighters, evenly matched fights, and just showing like that the girls fight hard too. Because if you don't put on good fights, and or the girls that are jumping in and getting the opportunities haven't trained hard or don't fight well, then they're letting us down. Because unfortunately, unlike the men, we all represent each other. If you watch a female fight and you're not a big women's boxing fan, but you watch a women's boxing fight, you go, oh, look at this girl and they're fighting like rubbish and shit and it's messy, and you're just like, what is this? You know, they're going, oh, that's women's boxing. Like, that's what it looks like. Do you know what I mean? So, I mean, unfortunately, we all do represent each other. So I just, you know, I think putting on the good fights, training your ass off, and making sure that when you jump in that ring, you're ready and you're fit and you're going to look good. Because, yeah, unfortunately, we represent each other, and I know that's what I do. And when I'm out there and I want to fight, and when I'm on my social media and whatever I'm doing, I know that it's not just me that I'm ripping. I know that I'm ripping women's boxing, you know, and that I'm not the face of women's boxing, but I'm a face of women's boxing, you know, like, and people are going to judge me and then think about women's boxing as a whole, you know, where that does not happen in the men's. So I think that's really important to know and be realistic about, because it's the truth. I don't know, you can disagree with me, but I think that's how it is, unfortunately. Yeah. But it is. No. It's just, you know, I'm spitting facts.
That is true. Facts in my opinion. It's true. Well said. And that's that is completely true. Right, look, the politics stuff out of the way. I'd never thought when I first heard about Ebanie Bridges I would ask this question, but what is the Leeds connection all about, by the way? What is that about?
The Leeds?
Yeah.
Leeds? Oh, there's a few things, but it started off like, you know, obviously, look, I actually played football. Like I played football when I was younger. You know, so I was in it. I played for like, I don't know, eight years or something. So I was always into football, but obviously then I went off it because I was more into other things. Anyways, so it's not like all of a sudden, like, I just like football. But when I started working with like the UK fan base, I was like, man, I need a bloody football team. Like, I have to get amongst this shit, because like you guys are so like into it. And I just thought, man, like, you know, I actually wanted UK fans. It was like beginning of last year, I'm like, I want to fight in UK. I want UK fans because they're crazy and they're awesome and like they're the best fans in the world. Like, you know, I've seen the Warrington cards and I've seen all that kind of stuff. And I was just like, man. So I put this like just to stir shit, because I don't know if you know me, but I like to stir a bit of shit.
Oh, we've seen.
Yeah, you know, I just like to, you know, stir some shit. And I put up a post and I was like, hey guys, so I really want to get into a football team, but I don't know which one to support. So I'm just gonna buy a jersey, a football shirt of Liverpool, Arsenal, Leeds, and Everton. And I go, I can support them all, right? Because like that way I have more chance of winning and it's all good. And like you could imagine, right?
That doesn't go down well in this country. No,
it doesn't.
It doesn't work.
You can't do this, like, and it got like retweeted like 300 times, and like there was like so much comment, and I was like, whoa, and I had people inboxing me going, man, like, be careful, like, you know, football's like religion here, like you're starting to start a war. And I'm like, I'm just having a banter because I like to banter. And I just thought, whoa, like, you know, like I don't have to, like, I can just like, you support everyone, you know, like then I can always win. And then people were joking, oh, well, we can't support Everton because you're never going to win. Anyways, all this shit, right? And then I thought, like, this was like pretty fun. And so I thought, you know, actually, I really do want to support a team. And at first I wasn't going to, because I didn't want to divide my fans. I didn't want to, like, you know, go in places and get like tomatoes thrown at me because I'm, you know, a Leeds fan or whatever. But so I put out a poll and I said, all right, who should I follow? You know, who's my team? Let's help me out, guys. And mate, the response I got from Leeds fans was ridiculous. Like, I just thought, wow, these guys are so, like, not patriotic, but so loyal and so, like, obsessed with their team. I just got a lot of Northern, like, or Yorkshire fans, I don't know. But I had, like, 6,500 people vote on my poll for Leeds. And, like, you know, then I was, like, a 2,000 and 1,000 for the others. But it was just so, you know, lopsided. And then I was like, you know, when I was growing up and I was into football and I played football, I loved Leeds. Like, I did like Leeds because Leeds was really big in Australia with, like, Viduka and all that. So, I mean, yeah. So, and we had, like, a lot of Australian players playing for Leeds. So when I was younger, like, you know, early 2000s, even 90s and stuff, like, it was Leeds. Leeds was big here. And it was just, like, my heart was, and I didn't really want to choose, but I couldn't help it because my heart was, like, pulling towards them. And I thought, you know, like, all this shit about dirty Leeds and them being like this and that, like, fuck, these are my people. Sorry, but like we are just meant to be, like, more man, you know. Together, I'm like, you know what? I was born for them. So,
I get it. Like Mark Viduka, Harry Kewell, I get that.
You know, like it all kind of, to me, it just all was like meant to be, you know, and it just felt right. Like it just felt right, and like, I mean, it's funny because freaking, like, I'm lucky that they don't really wear blue and yellow, but like I hate blue and yellow. Like, just, I hate those colors together. And my rugby league team is blue and yellow as well. I'm like, freaking hell, another blue and yellow thing. But it just was, it was just, I don't know if you've ever watched a sport that you're not really into, but you just have a feeling towards which team you want to win, and that's kind of how it was. So, and fuck, I don't know, I love it. It's the best, like, now, and I've totally embraced it. I got like Leeds gear stuff coming, like, yeah, like I can't wait to find the UK. So yeah, I was really hoping to get onto that Warrington card, but yeah, it didn't happen.
You let me down. I thought, you see my Chelsea shirt there, I thought, oh, I could probably turn her today, but
Nah,
stuff in the post.
No chance. Leeds it is. I'm loyal now. I've made the decision. I came out of the closet, we call it, because the fans kept hassling me for a little bit because I didn't like fully like put it out there. Like when they won the poll, and they kept hassling me, saying, hey, when are you gonna like admit? Because I was like, oh, I'm gonna lose a lot of fans, and I did. When I've like fully came out of the closet with being a Leeds fan, I did lose a few fans, but then I gained so many, and like just the community, like the Leeds community, like I don't know, I love it. Like it's mad. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
Should we break down some fights?
Yes, let's do it. It's my favorite stuff to do.
I mentioned Claressa Shields, right? You mentioned obviously you're up for doing some breakdowns. In the UK, I think a lot of fans are riding on Savannah Marshall's our girl who can beat sort of the quote. How would you see that fight playing out, Ebanie?
Oh, God, you're gonna get me. All the UK fans are gonna hate me. I see Claressa Shields winning that.
Yeah,
I see her winning it pretty clinically, to be honest. I think Savannah Marshall is very good. I think she's kind of a little bit awkward, but I think that kind of helps her style in a way. I just think, yeah, I obviously I don't see a knockout. I just don't. No, I don't think Claressa has that knockout power. I mean, you can always maybe develop it, but I don't see it. She hasn't had it yet. She seemed to be tested as well on her chin, so Savannah, she's got a pretty, she's strong. Savannah is strong. So I think she could rattle Claressa for sure. But I just, I don't know. I feel Claressa's being tested a little bit more. She's a bit more experienced in that sense. She's had a bit harder competition, I think. So yeah, I'm team Shields on that one. But I think it would be a good fight. I'd love to see that fight because I think that would be the most competitive fight for both of them. It's a shitty weight division. There's not much competition. All those heavier weight divisions, it's fuck all competition. Like, you know what I mean? And that's, it's a little bit unfortunate because you've got some really good girls, but it's like here and here, so you never see really big competitive fights. But who did she fight last?
Savannah Marshall fought Hannah Rankin.
That's right.
One of the matches.
See, Rankin's good. Like, she's tough, but there was a big disparity between just the skill level. You know what I mean? Like just that clinical kind of skill. I think Savannah was really good at just picking her apart, and being really disciplined. So I definitely see her and Claressa a bit of a chess match, but I could see Claressa trying to take her out, but like I don't know if she would be not dumb enough, you need to be disciplined in those kind of fights. So yeah, it'd be a bit of a chess match.
Do you take much from the amateur fight they had? I suppose that's the one thing that Savannah's got over Claressa. She's winding her up mad about it. We see it. I know Usyk Joyce is being mentioned now when people talking about their fight they had in the WSB as amateurs. Do you draw on much from a contest like that?
No, definitely not. It means fuck all. It means literally fuck all.
Even men's
even the men's, not really. It's very different, and it's so long ago. You know what I mean? Like what you learn in the pros and how you adapt in the pros is so different. It's different, man. I mean, obviously having amateur pedigree can help, but it's not the be all and end all. There's plenty of pro men who didn't have a big amateur career that were very successful. And sometimes, I mean, with these girls, the thing is, what we're seeing at the moment is a lot of these girls coming out of that amateur pedigree. So even as pros, they still have an amateur style. Yeah. All those British girls, they still look like amateurs to me. They still fight like amateur boxers. Like they don't fight like pro boxers to me. I think the kind of boxing we're seeing women's is good because it's skillful, it's nice and it's neat and it's good like that. But yeah, I don't think you can base that one amateur fight could have been Clarissa's bad day. Literally, could have been her one bad day.
We're trying as hard as we can to cling on to that amateur win. That's our sort of leverage.
That's okay. That's okay. But you know, Clarissa probably knows deep down she was having a shitty day.
Yeah.
You know, I've been beat. I only been beat 4 times in the amateurs, and one of the girls that beat me she beat me twice, and then we sparred after our fights, like whatever, and I broke a jaw, and she hasn't fought since. So, I mean, doesn't mean shit. She might beat me in the amateurs, I'll still bash her up anyways. You know, so I honestly don't think that. Yeah, all that amateur shit, fuck this and that. Unless you've had like a Lomachenko or Rigondeaux or whatever, and you've had like 300, 400 Usyk and that 400 fights, then I mean, sure, but that's experience and stuff. And these girls, I don't think they've had that.
Yeah, no, understandable. Who's going to be the queen of the super featherweight division then? We have 4 belt holders: Harper, Maya, Choi, Hamadouche. When we get an undisputed champion, who will it be?
You're killing me. Can we talk about men's boxing and fucking girls?
Ryan Garcia and Pacquiao. Should we move on to Ryan Garcia and Pacquiao?
Yeah, can we move on? No. You know what? It's definitely going to be between Mayer and Harper, 100%. And I love both those girls. I do. You know, and I think they're both great boxers, and I can't wait for that fight. You know, Terry Harper's just getting better and better each fight. She's young, you know, she's strong. She learned heaps from that Tasha Jonas fight, 100%. You know, you seen it when she came out and fought Fanders. You know, she's got that she's got that power, and she's, I'm gonna say it like that. What's another word for it instead of swearing? She got like that grit in her that, you know, she just wants to, like, you know,
you can swear on it.
No, it's all right because it's the C word. But she got that inside of her, and she's just, yeah, she just, you can see it, you know. She likes to fight and she likes to hurt him. And Mayo is extremely intelligent. She's a very smart boxer, very smart and very disciplined. And I think Terry's still learning that discipline. She showed more discipline in her last fight. But May is very disciplined. She's very clinical. She's very she can adapt really, really well. She doesn't have the power like Terry though. So I think that's where Terry would definitely have upper hand. I don't think that to be honest, I personally don't think either of them are like great on the inside. So I think they're both kind of tall. So I feel like it would be a bit of a longer kind of, you know, fight, mid-range kind of fight. But yeah, another very interesting fight, and I think a very, very evenly 50-50 fight.
Well, look, you said I'm killing you here, so I'm gonna throw a men's fight at you now. I mentioned that sort of amateur.
They're all my mates. I don't want to talk shit about them.
I was gonna say, is it you trying to be too nice? Is that the problem? Actually, do you know what? Do you get a lot of media?
I just spit facts. Nah, look, I just spit facts. Like, I'll break it down and analyze it in a way like I do, which is the truth. You know what I mean? But I can't really pick it. You know, I think they both everyone has like their things, you know, and if I don't think they're good, I will say it. But luckily those girls, I think they're great and I rate them. So I got only nice things to say.
Do you get a lot of requests for like media and punditry work? I mean, you might do, I suppose, when boxing opens back up, because like, over here we have Carl Frampton, obviously still active. He'll do a lot of media things around Frank Warren shows. Belly, who's been doing it for years, obviously I know he's retired now. David Hay. And have you got many media requests? Because I can imagine the name you are in Australia now, there are people going, if you can break down the fight, let's get on.
Yeah, boxing's not big in Australia. How many YouTube channels can you tell me that are boxing YouTube channels from Australia? Yeah, none.
Yeah,
so,
no, I can't. Yeah.
No, yeah, and the commentators for Australian boxing here are Fox Sports people, like them, and I doubt they would have a female on. So I don't know. Yeah, definitely not here. I don't think. I mean, I have a podcast that I talk about boxing. I haven't done it for a little bit though, because Yeah, but I was doing it when I just analyze fights because I do love talking boxing. I'm a huge boxing fan long before I was a fighter, long before I was getting in the ring, doing my card girling, long, you know what I mean? So, you know, and I love it and I love talking about it, but and something definitely that I want to do in the future, you know, definitely. So, and I'm very non-biased, you know, just say it how it is and whatever. So it's something I would love to get into.
I get you to break down the king of all kings then, Joshua Fury. I feel like everyone has broken this down.
I don't even want to break this one down because this is so tough because this again comes down to how are they going to fight, you know. But I think that, you know, we all know that the Fury has a great jab and he's very elusive and he's got that, you know, kind of like slick, like fancy, you know, whatever, like footwork and stuff. But, and, you know, before the crazy Deontay Wilder fight, which I was at, by the way, before that, like him knocking out the knockout king, like everyone was like, he's not powerful. He doesn't really have that kind of, you know, punch, whatever. But hey, now he does, right? And it just comes, I think it's going to come down to how each fighter fights. I feel like Joshua, I don't know if you could outbox him. I know he's like, especially from his last fight with Ruiz, he's really utilized that jab, and I think he's finally realized how important it is, and that now that he can fight though like that, like he's proven that he can fight light like that, light like Fury, dancing around and fluffing around and all that kind of stuff. So I mean, but I just feel like it'd be good for Joshua to sit on his punches and just try and get Fury out of there, you know, and make him really uncomfortable with his power and his brute force. But yeah, I don't know. I'm a big both of those fans. Originally I was always saying that Fury would win that. But I don't know. I feel like Fury could win on points, or AJ could knock him out.
Who do you see as their main threats? Obviously, we got Whyte Povetkin too. We got Usyk Joyce now. There are people waiting in the wings. Pardon me. Whether it is to fight for the 4 belts once they've had their couple of fights, whether it is one of the belts gets relinquished, there are people waiting in the wings. Who do you see as like the main man beyond them to try and challenge those guys?
Oh, Dylan, why let's have a fucking go, man. Like, oh, I felt, man, when I seen his last fight, I was broke my heart for him, like, because he was actually fighting so well. But that's boxing, that's heavyweight boxing, you know. So that's hard to. I need to see him against Povetkin again, you know. Just like, you know, AJ got knocked down by Ruiz and came back and won magnificently, like clinical. You know what I mean? So I'd like to see what Dillian's going to do to that from that loss. That will prove a lot to me, or show me a lot. Wilder, I mean, we just seen him get beat by Fury, but I would have liked to see AJ Wilder. I would have liked to see
shootout.
that.
Would have been a shootout. Hold on, yeah.
You reckon? Yeah, I think like Wilder could knock him out for sure. I mean, Wilder can knock anyone out, really. Like, he has that punch, you know, like the blonde bomber, but bronze bomber, you know, we got that. But yeah, no, I do see that being possible. And I used to always say that AJ's a bit chinny and his defense he gets a bit shit with his defense. Even did see a little bit there with Ruiz in the last fight, you know, when he got in the inside there, like, and lost his discipline there for a minute, you know, he was getting tagged and stuff. Like, he's not that great defensively on the inside. So there's still those little things. But I mean, again, you watch him improve and how AJ improves, and that's the champion he is. He gets better and better each fight, you know. So if he can fix all that, then yeah, I mean, Wilder's just wild, isn't he? So yeah, I think those two definitely. Can't really see anyone else. Look, Ortiz is like 70. You know, who else is there?
You're not an Usyk fan at heavyweight?
Oh yeah, Usyk. Yeah, you know what? I still need to see more of him. You know, like he needs to be like tested more. Like Usyk's, like, I mean, obviously a legend, you know, in a lot of weights, but like, I mean, in heavyweight, I think he's obviously against. I think he's gonna easily beat Joyce, to be honest. Yeah. I think he'll be. I feel like he could be a challenge. That it's the power thing, it's the strength thing, it's the size thing. I think that's the only thing that makes me question Usyk, because these heavyweights are fucking, some of them are big, you know, like AJ or even Dillian, like, you know, like they're much bigger, but you know, he's so slick and he's, you know, got that southpaw and he's slick and sharp. So yeah. Yeah, I think I'd need to see him. I'd like to see him maybe against a Dillian, see how he handles Dillian's power, and then go from there. That's what I'd like to see.
You're a Dillian Whyte fan, aren't you? I saw your drawing of Dillian. It is unbelievable.
Yeah.
But you are a Dillian Whyte fan, yeah?
I am, yeah. He's I like him as a character, as a person, and you know what I loved about Dillian is he's just to watch his progression. I love to see people that improve, like, and get better and better. And I've seen so much improvements from him, from the AJ fight, obviously, to like more recently, you know. And I love watching boxers develop. You know, I like Canelo. Like, I've just, like, every single fight Canelo, he gets better and better. Like, and I just love that about Canelo. You know, and same with like AJ. You know, I mean, he went a bit stagnant there. He wasn't doing much, but just the improvements that he made from, say, the first Ruiz to the second Ruiz, to me, like, that's what I like to see. That excites me, because then I think, oh wow, like, how are they going to come out next? But if they're not ever improving and they're just coming out exactly the same fucking fight every time, like, you know, I not get bored, but I just, you know, I like to see what they're going to bring.
Have you found yourself enjoying sort of watching someone's development more now you're a fighter, because you perhaps understand the 1s and 2% they're adding? Whereas when you were just a fan, like, I can see a fighter's progression, but a boxer's mindset can perhaps see it in a completely different light.
Yeah, in a way, maybe because I'm a boxer. But I think I like watching it because I also, like, obviously I love studying boxing and I love watching the fights, and I think, oh, okay, like, and it's like me watching them improve. Like, I feel like, okay, well, cool, like, you know, I really like how they've done that, and it's like learning for me as well, you know. And I just know, like, fuck, man, like, for example, AJ Ruiz, Whyte, how he boxed Ruiz, I know how hard that is, how hard it is as a brawler or as a person that likes to fight, how hard it is to stick to that kind of game plan, to just freaking box, like. And when he did it, I was just like, wow, like, you don't understand how, like, you can't appreciate that. Like, you need to know really how hard that is, like, mentally, to be, if you're not like a boxer naturally, and that, you know, you like to fight, to be able to do that, it's like you got to have a lot more appreciation for it, I think, you know, because it would be hard. Like, you know, for example, Katie Taylor and P Soon, she looks so freaking disciplined for like the first 4 rounds, and then she loses her discipline. You know, she's great, but I mean, she stops boxing. You know, and I mean, Pearson's crazy. She's Terminator. So it might be very hard. Like, and I'm not taking anything away from Katie Taylor at all, but it is very hard to stick to those kind of game plans. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, I think, and like, for example, Canelo, when I watch Canelo with Kovalev, or even with Smith, like, you know, he's more my kind of style, where we're short and you know, we go in and you get your patience. It's all about patience, you know, like waiting and picking the time and cutting in and closing that distance for that perfect shot, for that knockout punch. It might take you 8 rounds to get there, but you got to have patience to get there, instead of rushing and losing, you know, or whatever. Just knowing and being positive and trusting the game plan and trusting the process, that, you know, you're just going to keep breaking in, cutting in, setting this up, setting that up. So then in those later rounds, you get that fucking superstar knockout, you know. And for me, like, when I watch fighters do that, it just reminds me, or it's just like, okay, look, you know, like, they're doing it. Like, you know, like, it's so, yeah, and I appreciate it because I know how hard it is. It's so easy to just go in there and fucking fight. It's so easy to go in there and just do what comes natural and just throw punches and just want to bash the shit out of them and kill them. Like, it's so easy to do that because that's natural. Like, I mean, with me and a lot of fighters, we're fighters and we like to fight. Like, you know, so it's easy to go in there and not be thinking too much and just do what comes natural. So yeah, when I see really good game plans and I see a lot of discipline in fights, it's really impressive for me.
Brilliant, Ebony. I've really enjoyed this, and it's good to see, because I don't want to sort of not throw shade, but I know a lot of people perhaps see the side of Ebony Bridges where they'll say, because obviously everyone loves the old sock story, don't they? That's like a thing.
Yeah. I'm so glad you didn't ask me about them. Yeah, but people don't realize, like, you know, I'm a huge boxing fan. I love talking boxing. I'll talk boxing every day, anytime, about over anything, and I don't fucking shut up.
It's
so
the
I
easiest
appreciate.
interview I've ever had.
I actually really appreciate. I appreciate this interview. I do, and for showing that side, and you know, I'm not just, you know, just buy my socks.
I mean, it helps, but it's
although
not just.
If you do want to buy them, get in my DMs.
Oh, brilliant. Just before we go, where can fans see you? Because obviously, I don't know, will we be able to see your next fight? Will it just be like a highlight package released after? When's the date as well? Just sort of fill us in on what.
Yeah. We're looking at March. Yeah, the official announcement will be very soon, in a couple of days. So I don't want to be announcing anything yet, but I'm not sure. We're going to see if we can try and get it streamed. I'm talking to some big sponsors of mine who want to see if we can try and stream it to my UK fans, obviously, mainly, because, you know, that's where everyone's at. But yeah, if it's not available, then yeah, there'll definitely be, I'll definitely be putting the highlight of my knockouts up, and yeah, giving a link to people that I feel like I want to share it with, maybe. But yeah, I mean, to be honest, the less people see, the better for me. Like, because I just want to come out there and shock you motherfuckers. Like, I mean, you know, that's what I want to do. And yeah, but yeah, so if it's available, then yeah, it will be available. But I can't promise. But yeah, otherwise, yeah, and you know, if you like the dance and you like that interaction, then yeah, follow me on Twitter, because that's where the fun's at. But if you're a bit PG, you know, you don't like swearing and all that, then get over to my Instagram.
So the Instagram's a bit more PG.
Yeah, definitely. Instagram is PG because I got a lot of students that follow me, so it's purposely PG. But yeah, like Twitter's not huge in Australia at all, and definitely not between like students and kids. So I'm not too fussed with my censory on Twitter. But yeah, I mean, they're both good. Follow them both, you know. And yeah, don't be shy to say hi.